What is up, everybody? Welcome to the All Out Blitz podcast with Jeff and Brady. We are back covering the divisional round that just happened this past weekend. How we doing today, Brady?
Yeah, I've been having a right day. I got all my stuff done, got all my chores done, got my school done. We're been doing fine right now as a human being, as a Buffalo Bills fan, who we're a little in the gutter at the moment.
Yeah, how about that, right? I mean, let's get into that a little bit. Let's start with the coaching stuff because there's been so much going on the last couple of days. And then we'll get into the divisional round. There, of course, was only 4 games to cover as far as this past weekend goes. 5 if you include the national championship last night. Congratulations to the Indiana
Go
Hoosiers and their
Hoosiers!
fan base. What a game, man! I mean, that was a phenomenal game. We'll touch on that at the end of the episode. But talk about just back and forth, fantastic football. Heisman Mendoza bringing it all out. Fantastic showing by the Hoosiers. So congrats to them and their fan base, their school, their community. Fun game to watch. Let's get into the coaching craziness, though. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's quite a bit to cover. Let's cover the elephant in the room first. And I say it's a shock, and there's levels to it. The firing of Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott just a few days after that heartbreaking loss in the divisional round. My personal take on it, this could have happened. Probably the last 2 or 3 years if they really wanted to. I really think the Ravens setting the tone this offseason or this postseason with firing Harbaugh triggered a lot of different things in this league that a lot of people didn't really expect. You have Harbaugh getting fired. You have Tomlin resigning, the 2 longest tenured coaches at an organization. It almost feels like this is a new thing this year is let's get rid of these longer tenured, very successful coaches, good winning percentages, constant playoff pressure with these teams. But there was just something missing that they couldn't get over that hump. So I get that it makes sense. Love Sean McDermott. I mean, absolutely turned that program and that community around in such a positive way. It really, really sucks, to be honest, to open up that new stadium without McDermott at the helm. The thing that gets me, and then I'll stop talking and you can give your couple cents on that too, Brady, is the fact that Brandon Beane gets a promotion. The best draft picks outside of Josh Allen were made when McDermott ran a draft for a year when Beane wasn't there. Since then, Brandon Beane has drafted. I mean, there's been some good guys in there. No major game players outside of Josh Allen, to be honest with you. I don't remember. I guess it was James Cook too. It drives me crazy that this dude gets a promotion. McDermott somehow gets thrown under the bus. And if we're going to level it out, and you could say, well, they could have won, they had opportunities to win. I'm not going to get into all the craziness of this past weekend. However, as a coach, you get to coach the roster that you are given. Normally, a head coach and a GM work very, very closely together. I think McDermott and Beane did that. But what did Beane do to give a roster to McDermott to coach that is Super Bowl caliber? No number 1 wide receivers. Everything else, offensive line was great. Running back situation, great. Josh Allen, the best in the world. Defense, which McDermott is a defensive coach. I mean, to be honest with you, defensively, he did phenomenal for the players that he had. None of those guys are game changers on many, many other teams. You saw guys like a Jordan Poyer, like a Dane Jackson, like Levi Wallace, that when they're in Buffalo, they ball out. But when they show up on other teams and other schemes with other leadership, they're not very good, to be honest. which is why nobody ever signed long-term deals when they left Buffalo. That is a coaching thing. And McDermott, I don't think, got enough credit for that. So I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Now I mean, I have thought about it, like, before the firing, like, actually happened. I thought about, like, what if it happened? And then whenever it did happen, and then now we've had a day to sit on it, I don't like it. It's just he was I don't think he was the big problem there, honestly. And the whole rumor mill going around, if no one's heard this yet, the rumor mill going around is that Bean, McDermott, and the Bills owner all sat down in a meeting, and McDermott was very critical of the team he was given to coach, and that was the main reason that he got fired, is because he was making fair criticism of the offense that he was given. So, or maybe not the
Well,
offense, but just like the
not
team in
just the
general.
offense, the full team. Yep. And that
That's what I
was
mean. It's like,
5 weeks ago?
yeah, and it said it was like 5 weeks ago. So, and the whole big thing is like the reason why Josh Allen was like crying at the press conference is because he got the news that it was already kind of confirmed that McDermott was going to get fired after that game. So, or just especially after losing that game there. And it's just like, man, he was just a really good person to have at the helm. Not even just like such, because he is a really good coach. It's just he was also just a really good person as well. Like he was definitely some guy you want leading your ship there, you know. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's interesting now just to see what happens with like coordinators and who they're going to get as head coach, because there are a pretty good amount of candidates out there that can take over. But I just don't know if someone can replace someone like McDermott in 1 year. Like they've spent the past 9 years building relationships with all the players that are there with McDermott, and now they got to
Mhm.
restart all of them. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like. At the end of the day, I don't really like the move.
I don't see at this point where are you how are you going to upgrade from Sean McDermott to take this team to the Super Bowl and potentially win? I mean, it's coaches make bad play calls. GMs make bad decisions that affect the entire organization, like drafting 4-year-old Keon Coleman. Like it's just it drives me crazy. And you listen to past press conferences from Brandon Beane around, all these younger GMs coming in acting like it's Madden and they trade for Jamar Chase and he doesn't ever want to lose to be in a position to draft a Jamar Chase. Well, what's the biggest glaring item you need to fix on your team right now? It's wide receiver. It really is. Outside of that, it's defensive back. Um, the pass rush was non-existent. Like, look at the so-called money you spent for these guys that are going to give you a pass rush. This was all Brandon Beane. McDermott doesn't make those calls. Beane should be making the calls to get these guys that are going to make the difference. That's what him and all of his scouts are there for. McDermott is the head coach leading that team, and he unfortunately just had to be the fall guy.
I remember following up on what you just said about not really having a solid wide receiver one. Saw someone pointing it out on Twitter. They were um, showing the news article that was back before the trade deadline that the Bills um, originally offered I think it might have been like a second rounder for this year to the Miami Dolphins for Jalen Waddle. Or no,
It
it might
was
have been a first rounder for like next year, I think maybe.
Yeah, it was. They offered a first round pick for 2027 for Jalen Waddle. The Dolphins said they wanted it for this year. He said no.
That's one of those things there that it's like, man, like
Between
I get why you want to just try and, oh, let's just go to the draft and let's just go draft a young star or whatever. Mind you, Jalen Waddle at the oldest is like 26. So it's like man, he's been here for at most like 4 or 5 years. It's like you could still get him for a pretty good deal. And a first rounder for Jalen Waddle, I'd do that. I don't know why you wouldn't.
He's proven in this league what wide receivers are coming out that are going to have that same effect, that would have had that effect now. Now with the right coach, now with the team that you had put together, where did Jalen Waddle fit in? Well, he comes in to stretch the field. He comes in to be able to do jet sweeps with. He comes in with fantastic route running, great hands, can make a difference on your team. Tell me they couldn't have had a much better shot, honestly, for maybe a little bit of an easier game against Jacksonville. Maybe not overtime, or maybe a much clearer win against Denver, where Buffalo was clearly the better team that day. And we're not going to, I don't want to get into the whole conversation about referees, because I don't want this to turn into an argument fest of a show. That just is what it is at this point. You can say it was a catch, it wasn't a catch. It almost feels like the whole Des Bryant thing. Like, was it a catch? Was it not a catch?
Yeah.
Well, this dude clearly had possession and his knee was down. So we're just going to call it there. But whatever. I mean, and then you have the unfortunate news. Let's just dive right into that. Post game, Bo Nix breaks his ankle or something in his foot. It comes out post game. I shouldn't say it happened post game. They say it happened when he ran the ball, which was like a really weird play call, in my opinion, for that part of the game. To have your quarterback run it and try to get a couple yards for no reason. He's out. Completely out. So now we're looking at a Jared Stidham led Broncos team going to take on the Patriots. Good luck out there, Broncos country. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man, that's just, I remember getting the news. I mean, like, it's already unfortunate as a Bills fan. Like, you go out there and you got to watch that game. And then it takes you out of that mindset of being a Bills fan and just back to being like a football fan. And you see that says Bo Nix breaks something in his foot, and you're like, wow, that sucks. Because Bo Nix, I was saying this too. I'm like, dude, I've been a fan of Bo Nix. I think that dude's a very talented quarterback.
Oh, he's
Like, you just
fantastic.
you
There's no
hate to
denying
see
that.
that stuff happen, man. It's like,
Yeah.
regardless of whatever fan you are, it's you hate to see that happen. And like, it just, man, and it's just like, because that would have been a lot more of an entertaining game if it was Bo Nix versus Drake May. There's nothing, there's no shot toward Jarrett Stidham there, but it's just true at the end of the
Now
day.
watch
Like,
Stidham come out and like light it up with 5 touchdowns,
I've thought
350
about that
yards.
too,
Like,
honestly. I'm like, watch, he just has like a career day, like 300 yards, 4
yes.
touchdowns, no picks, 80% completion percentage.
Yep.
I remember
It'll be
seeing
interesting.
Nick Foles put out a tweet or something about it. I don't remember what he said, but like, imagine just one of those scenarios again.
Never doubt the backup.
Exactly, yeah. Be
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, the McDermott thing has me a little frustrated. I think there's, me personally, I hope they don't take the easy way out, and I'll just call it the lazy way, and just promote Joe Brady, because he's
It
getting
is.
looks
I'd
from
agree
other
with you.
places. I mean, that is the laziest thing you could possibly do at this point. And the whole thing is because he's comfortable. They don't want to overhaul everything, right? That's not Buffalo's intent with getting rid of McDermott. It is to take it to the next level. You're telling me Joe Brady is a better option than Sean McDermott? Are you kidding me right now? Bring back Brian Dable, and you'll say, well, look what he did with the Giants. How's that any better? Again, we're not doing an overhaul if they bring Dable back. You're bringing an already known person to everything that Buffalo does offensively. He can go bring in some defensive people that can hopefully help fix that defense, and they're set. It's not a massive reset. I think that could be a really, really good enhancement for them. Outside of that, I think the next option is they go young, they go clever, and they go Clint Kubiak. However, now it's a waiting game until Seattle either wins the Super Bowl, and they can't really talk to anybody until February now anyway, or they get knocked out this weekend in the championship round.
Yeah, I just, that's my big thing as well, is because you see it all over social media. I don't understand why people are so against going and getting Brian Dable back. I'm assuming it's because it's the whole thing that it's like, oh, well, look what he did with the Giants. You're telling me the Giants roster is the same roster as the Buffalo Bills?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
and he already has those connections with Josh Allen, you know what I mean? And not even just Josh Allen, like the whole offense essentially. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, man. If you
And
see
Josh loves Dable too. He really
he
does.
does. And it's like, man, if you were especially as a Buffalo fan, if you're criticizing going and getting Dable back, I don't understand where you sit. I mean, I 100% am on the ship if they go and get Kubiak, if the Seattle gets knocked out. I'm fully on that ship at this point. Like, just go and get him. I think the dude's fantastically offensive minded. I think he's very creative. And man, it's just if they don't get Dable, Kubiak could be my number two, honestly. And
Yeah.
if we're just listing in order, I'd probably put Kubiak over Brian Dable, but I'd be perfectly fine with Dable. And then
Yeah.
I think, yeah, if there's a lot of guys out, a lot of coaches out there that are defensive minded if they want to go get a new defensive coordinator, you know? So
Well, they're going to have to. They'll be bringing
I
up a
don't know,
whole
man.
staff. I mean, you have their offensive line coach retired the day after the game. Well, I could tell them where to go get a really, really good offensive line coach, and that is former Falcons O-line coach Dwayne Ledford. Phenomenal O-line coach, one of the best in the game, is now available, being that Callahan is now signed on to be the O-line coach with the Falcons. And that's not a Falcons, homer kind of speak or scenario there. Ledford is knowingly one of the best O-line coaches in the NFL. Go grab him. Go grab him right now. Do not even wait and just tell your next coach, here's your O-line coach. That's just the way it is. That's the way that Buffalo runs up top anyway. This is what you're given. Go do it.
Exactly, yeah.
They're going to continue working that way. So, um, yeah, I mean, let's jump right into it. I guess, did we talk about Atlanta and the Stefanski hire in the last episode?
We did not. That happened
We
after our
did
last
not.
episode, I do
That's
believe.
right. Yeah. So Kevin Stefanski, now at the helm of the Atlanta Falcons. Um, he was my number two. I wanted Kubiak first. Um, I know Matt Ryan wanted a seasoned, if you will, head coach to come into Atlanta.
Experienced.
You can't get more experience or much season than two-time coach of the year Kevin Stefanski. So I'm 100% on board with that. I think it was a great pick by Matt. I saw this comment on Twitter about it. That was I mean, honestly, I mean, there's so many Falcons fans just complaining about the hire of Kevin Stefanski. And then I saw somebody comment, it's the right pick when all the Falcons fans are
They're
complaining about it
complaining. Yep.
already. Because to be honest, that's Falcons fans. You got to stop being so obnoxious like you actually know the game. I'm just going to call you out. I am a Falcons fan as well. Okay. Just because they don't get who you wanted doesn't mean, oh, now Matt Ryan's a bum. Like, if you are going to act like that, you are not a fan. Go be a fan of the Saints. They're already obnoxious. Go do it.
I also saw the Falcons this morning also hired Bill Callahan to be their new offensive line coach.
Yeah, dude's
That's
phenomenal. An
I was about to say, that's a
absolute
pretty good hire to
legend.
me.
Absolute legend at that position coaching. The staff is going to fill out very nicely. They re-upped defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich for 3 years, solidifying that defense once again. They'll bring in some more positional guys, DBs coach, linebacker coach, etc. It's filling out nicely. They're taking their time. They're being methodical about it for once. I think it's fantastic. It's a bummer that they don't have a first round pick this year, but dude, I'll take James Pierce Jr. for that first round pick all day and twice on Sunday.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, wasn't one of their defensive ends in the second round they got last year? I think either
Well,
James Pierce or
they
Jalen Walker.
they
I
used a
think one of
pick
them
to
was in the
move
second round.
back. Yeah, they used a pick to move back into the first. So they ended up picking
Okay,
up Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. Xavier Watts has been an absolute steal. The
I think he was what,
defense
third
just
round.
looks fantastic. Yeah, it's just an absolute crazy good defense right now. Keeping Ulbrich there was, to me, I think in that interview process was a non-negotiable. It was like Arthur Blank even said, he's like, well, I'm gonna like, pine for him a little bit. Like you should really think about keeping him. But I think that was a part of the conversation throughout the interview process was we have a really good defensive coordinator here in Jeff Ulbrich. We're going to want him to stay. The defense was the best I've seen it in a very, very long time. Now we got to take the offense to the next level, and the pieces are there. They got some older pieces that they need to get some depth for. They still need some help at wide receiver that is not players like Darnell Mooney. They got to do better on that side of things. But we'll see what happens. But as a Falcons fan, I think it's probably one of the better ways you can go. Super excited about it. Looking forward to seeing what happens. Matt's there making good decisions and pushing them forward now. So it's a good time. It's a very good time.
Yeah, I'll definitely say I honestly am I'm excited to see how the Falcons go forward, honestly. I just think once again, and this is just where they were a couple years ago, yeah, they just need a QB. And it's like it doesn't matter, young, old, whatever decade he was born in, it's they just need to go get a guy that they know can certainly sling the ball. They had I
Yes.
still stand on this. Kirk Cousins was a better quarterback than Penix this year.
Without a
So,
doubt.
and it's
Penix had flashes, but he's not consistent and he still has a lot to learn.
and he's still on the injury report too. Like
That too.
this is why I said I'm like even whenever they drafted Penix, I said back then, I said, man, he's a project because he's had like a million injuries. It's I think that plays a big factor in how he plays, honestly, and that's nothing he can
It
help.
does.
But it's just I don't know. I just Kirk's only going to be around for at most like 2 more years, and that might be pushing it. But like they need to go get somebody that's like 26 to like 29 who can sling the rock. And yeah, I just still think quarterback's their biggest need, honestly. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the Falcons going forward, and because you know how big of a fan I am, I've stuck up for Matt Ryan forever, and
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm excited to see how they go forward. But switching topics to other coaching news, it was a buzzer beater to midnight last night. The Tennessee Titans announced their new head coach, Robert Salad, is their new head coach over there in Tennessee.
Gosh, why did you do that?
Get another Robert Sala and young QB. It's the second time he's had that duo. First time with Zach Wilson, this time with Cam Ward. Again, I'm interested to see how it goes, honestly.
He did say that he is going to be calling the defense this time himself. That he when he went with the Jets, he ended up handing that off, and he said, if I had a chance to do it again, I absolutely would not hand it off to somebody else. I'm taking it myself. And that's his plan, is he will still call the defense, which I think is a great idea. Great defensive coach. I think it's a good pickup by Tennessee. I mean, taking a look at what's out there, you're looking at a lot of different teams. A lot of these guys that are up for head coaching opportunities are new.
Yeah.
Like you have Clint Kubiak. You have, I mean, Flores isn't new, but kinda. I mean, didn't really have a really good stint. They don't want a project. They don't want to start with a young QB. They need somebody there to be seasoned. Robert Saleh, I think, is ready to take on that challenge. I think it's a good pickup by Tennessee. I like it. I really do.
I do too. I think honestly, Robert Sala just with whatever team you went with, I feel like you were kind of like playing it safe to an extent, just because it's
Yeah.
like you know he can be a solid head coach, and it's like even if you don't agree with that, it's like go look at the situation he was with when he was with the Jets. It's like he wasn't in a good
Look
situation
at
then.
anybody with the Jets.
That's I mean, it's like and you know he's a fantastic defensive coordinator too. So
Yeah.
that's I mean, I think it was a good pickup by Tennessee. Cam Ward definitely showed flashes of how good he can be in the NFL, and I think honestly he did well for his rookie season with the situation that he was in. He was in a situation with essentially nobody to throw to and barely anybody to run the ball.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and he still got over 3,000 yards. I think he had a fine touchdown to interception ratio. So I'm excited to see what he does now with a guy like Robert Sala calling the shots.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other one that got filled was the Miami Dolphins signing former Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. I'm not going to lie, I don't know a lot about the guy. Um, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Miami has a few good pieces, but there are so many question marks, starting with the quarterback position. What are you going to do about the quarterback position? The offensive line, not great. Wide receivers, okay. Tyreek Hill, I don't think suits up for the Dolphins ever again. You have Jalen Waddle. You have Achane at running back. Great. Defensively, they're in trouble. This is going to be a really, really tough gig, in my opinion, for this new head coach. Never a head coach in the NFL before. I really, for his sake, I hope he gets some very experienced staff members as far as coordinators, maybe one that would be listed as an assistant head coach to help guide and direct him as he travels these new waters. But I don't know. Congrats to all these guys. I mean, really just being in the conversation, landing a new gig. Hopefully they do well. I just, the Dolphins thing is going to be, that's going to be tough, I feel, for Halfley to take on.
I do remember Jeff Halfley being a name that was floating around for head coaches and like all that stuff. And I mean, I think it's a switch up in Miami because you had Mike McDaniel, an offensive mind, going in head coach. And now you got Jeff Halfley, a defensive mind, going in head coach. So
Yeah,
I think it'll be very interesting to see what goes on there. I remember seeing that they did that the ownership over there at in Miami, they didn't want Tua to be a voice in their head coach because they didn't even know if the head coach was going to want Tua. So
exactly.
I don't know. Maybe that's like a dark horse for like a draft night trade is Tua. Could you imagine that? I mean,
Very well
it's
could be.
I think the biggest reason why he wouldn't be able to get traded is because of his giant contract. But I mean, he could be a dark horse to be traded draft night. I think him and Tyreek maybe even Jalen Waddle. I mean, I don't know how
I
deep of a
think, to
of a
be
rebuild
honest with
maybe.
you, honestly, I think everybody has a price right now. The Dolphins do pick 11th overall. Um, they have a second rounder. They have 3 third rounders this year. So they do have draft capital to move up to take someone if they want.
Could you, could you imagine trade Tua and the number 11th pick to the Las Vegas Raiders for the number 1 overall pick, and they go get Mendoza.
It would take a
Tua,
lot more than that.
Tua, the first, and then like 2 of their thirds. Trade that to the Raiders, and then they go up and draft Mendoza. I mean, I don't
I
think it's going to happen at all because I think the Raiders are pretty
I
set
don't
with
think Tom
Mendoza. But
Brady's doing that. I
that
don't
would
think
be a
Tom
heck of a
Brady's
trade,
doing
though. Could
that.
you imagine that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Tom Brady's not going to go for that one.
That would be a heck of a trade, though. But yeah, man, I don't know how deep Halfley's going to go and like maybe like rebuild Miami if at all. Maybe it ends up just Tua, Waddle, and Tyreek are all still just there next year. And I don't know, man. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens over there in Miami.
It sure will. Um, yeah, be a fun off season. Let's jump into these divisional games, man. We had 4 of them to go over. Of course, we had 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, which nicely filled out our weekend schedule. It all started with Buffalo and Denver. Um, very, very tight game, which I think most expected it to be. Many opportunities for both teams to win. Josh did not play his best game. He really, really did not. But, I stated earlier that I think, Buffalo is still the better team that day. And I think it's, to me anyway, it's when you can commit that many turnovers, and this isn't all Josh, bad decisions, um, the ups and downs of a typical game and still be in it and then head to overtime is honestly fairly impressive. Um, Josh made some boneheaded decisions. He always accepts what he does wrong. Um, I don't know. It was a good game. The ending felt very, very rushed to me. When the rest of the game, there were not a lot of flags thrown. Everything was taking time. They would look into everything. And then at the end of the game, they decide not to review anything. It seemed to really, really speed it up, I think, because it clashed with the next start time of the second game. And it's not a conspiracy theory or anything like that, people. So everybody relax. It just, that overtime period seemed very, very rushed. to try to get to the conclusion. It just seemed very off from the pace of the rest of the game to me. So, and maybe that was just the anxiousness and the craziness of the time. That most certainly could have been. But, when you have games that go into overtime, you're typically like, okay, it's a fantastic game. And to end up 33-30 in overtime is just, I don't know. It's what you want from a playoff game, especially a divisional round. My last take for right now is that I think Buffalo got the shaft. Again, that is what it is. There's nothing you could do about it now. But all in all, this weekend, again, comparing to Wild Card weekend, this is going to be a weird take, but I think it was a disappointment. Football this past weekend in a divisional round was some of the messiest football that I've watched in a very long time. So many turnovers, so many boneheaded decisions. Nobody protecting the football. It's like football fundamentals got thrown out the window this weekend. I don't know. That's just my take on it. When I was watching it, it was like, where's the next turnover coming? I mean, multiple drives, turnover after turnover. And it was I wouldn't say almost every game. 3 out of the 4 games, I'll say. It was very turnover heavy. And you could say, well, that was good defensive play, but it wasn't. It was just sloppy offensively from some of the people that you least expect it from.
Yeah, man, just my take on the whole Buffalo and Denver game is I'm honestly just straight up, I'm just tired of talking about it. I'm tired of the whole controversy thing and whatever. At this point, dude, I'm just letting it go and I'm just moving on and just seeing, all right, what's next for Buffalo? It's in the past. It happened. I don't care at this point. I'm gonna reiterate a short that I posted personally on our um YouTube and TikTok account where I was just talking about my take on the Bills Broncos game. I know it kind of sounded like maybe I personally, this is all the people that watched it. I know it kind of sounded like I was like almost making Josh seem like the victim in that whole thing. I'm going to put out there Josh didn't play a great game. He didn't. I
He
can
didn't.
criticize him. It was the two fumbles, the one of them was on him at the end of the half there. I don't know what was going on
Oh,
with that. That was just it looked like maybe he was trying to pitch it back to keep the play alive, maybe. Even then, just eat it, dude. Just go into halftime. The second one, he didn't see the dude that
he
was
got
flying
decked.
in behind
Oh
him,
my
and he got
gosh.
decked for that one.
Yeah.
And then the 2 picks, if you really wanna criticize him, maybe he just needs to throw it further, but I think one of them, the first one, it was just a good defensive play by the defensive back just to jump up and go pick it off.
Yeah.
The second one, just we'll leave that up to what had happened at the end of the day. I'm tired of talking about it, and, yeah, man, it wasn't a great overall. I mean, just going off what Josh said, you can't have 5 turnovers in a game and expect to win, you know? But, um I do want to talk to all the Josh haters out there though and saying, "Oh, he's a choke artist. He's this, he's that." The defense lost that game for Buffalo. The stupid penalties at the end of the game, regardless of
Ooh.
if you want to say they're penalties or not, they were penalties at the end of the day. They were stupid penalties. Trey Day losing his crap at the referee. That doesn't help. Joey Bosa hitting Bo Nix after the ball's already gone. That doesn't help. At the end of the day, the Bills are not getting to overtime without Josh Allen there.
No,
Yes,
they're not.
maybe he missed what would have been a walk-off touchdown to Dawson Knox there at the end of regulation. Sure. At the end of the day, they are still not getting to overtime without Josh Allen there. It's I'm on both sides. If you want to say, oh, the Bills lost because of Josh Allen, sure. It sucks to have 4 turnovers and a loss that close. At the same time, I'm on the other side. The Bills are not getting to overtime without Josh Allen in that game. So, I mean, it's like I said, man, I'm tired of talking about it, and I'm just ready to move on. I'm very interested just to see what the Bills do next. Um, Peyton Manning didn't win his first Super Bowl till he was 30 as well. So I'm always just hopeful going forward for Josh Allen, hoping he gets one by the time he ends up hanging up his cleats.
It's funny you say that they wouldn't have made it to overtime without Josh. They wouldn't have been in the playoffs without Josh. Any
They're
of
a
the
2 to
past
4 win
however
team,
many
and that's kind of
years.
pushing it without Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, you could put any other QB back there. I don't know if they have the same luck. Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, I think, for a lot of Bills fans because it just seems like they're cursed and it seems like they're never going to get over that. They will get over that hump. Um, I really do think they will. They have a solid team. My only concern is they're getting a little bit older, especially up front where they have been so successful. Um, but the defense, man, needs an overhaul. It really, really does. A lot of their players are it's patchwork, and I think that was the coaching masterpiece that McDermott did to make him even play like they did. Tre'Davious White needs to hang him up. Just really, really dumb decisions, honestly, at the end of the day. Let's go into the second game. Whew, to quote Jim Ross, man, it was a slobber knocker.
And so is the
Um,
Seahawks 49ers.
yeah, the
I
Niners
believe.
got waxed. The Niners got absolutely
Man,
torched.
that
The
was
Seahawks look so good.
dude. I told you this was the main reason on why I told you I was taking Seattle is because Seattle's just such a good team. I just can't not take them in that moment. And it's like, man, I mean, I think it's a killer to start out with when the opening kickoff gets returned back for a touchdown. I mean, I think that's that's
Yes.
that's a little bit of a killer there. And we
Yeah.
said, yeah, George Kittle's going to make a difference. I didn't think it'd be this big of a difference
It's
whenever
it
George Kittle's
wasn't
not
it
there.
wasn't Kittle. Their
At
offense would
that
have been a
point,
little different, but
I was gonna say, I don't think Kittle would have changed that game even in the slightest. Maybe he would have got him 7 more points, but I don't think Kittle would have done that, man. Just Seattle's defense was just way too good, and they were suffocating Brock Purdy that entire game, stuffing Christian McCaffrey at the line. Like, man, it
yeah,
was
I'll say
a
McCaffrey was out for part of the
masterclass.
game too.
It was a masterclass by Seattle's defense there, and Seattle's offense just Niners defense couldn't stop them. I think maybe it's a different game if Fred Warner and Nick Bosa both play that game, but
Oh, that it's a different ball game. It is.
man, it's I don't know. It's man, I just Seattle just flat out looked like the better team in that game, and that's not even because of the score. I just
Yeah.
think the Niners probably gave up at like the third quarter and just said, "Yeah, we lost this one." But yeah, man, that was I didn't see that in any sort of way, that being like the Seattle lays the smackdown on the
No,
49ers.
no.
I
I
saw
thought
that
they
as
would
maybe
come
like a
out and it would
31
be
like 31-17 or something. Like I didn't
yeah.
that was crazy, man.
They did not stand it from opening kickoff. The game was over. I don't think the Niners gave up after that. I think it was a quick buzzkill of the anxiousness and nerves at the beginning of a game, and it's like crap, we're down already. Um, but normally, I mean, NFL teams they come back from that kind of stuff. That just is what it is. But by halftime, you were like, "What game am I watching?" You know what I mean? Is this like
Yeah.
week one or what is it? Not a divisional playoff game. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Kudos to Seattle. They are putting everything together at the right time. Offense is clicking, defense is clicking, special teams is clicking. I hope they didn't peak too fast. They got two important games yet this season if they want to take it all away. Um, but yeah, I think Seattle right now, in my opinion, is the team to beat. This is the only team, honestly, in the last 2 weeks of the playoffs that had this strong of a showing, that showed up and dominated everywhere. The Seahawks are the ones to beat right now.
I completely agree with you, dude. I mean, they are hands down my Super Bowl favorite right now. And like I mean like to win the whole thing. They're my Super Bowl favorite right now. It's like, man, I know I said I know I might have said this with the Broncos. I don't know if I said this about Seattle, but I was going in thinking, man, it's like it's usually either with having the extra week off and like you're just practicing, there's no game or anything though. It either really like heat checks you and you like slow down, or it's like you got that extra motivation to go and just punch another team in the face.
Yeah.
Seattle started punching and didn't stop until the final whistle. And it's like, man, they look red hot right now. And I seriously think that NFC championship between the Seahawks and the Rams, number 3 this year, dude, that could be a fantastic game.
Yes. It's even with Sam Darnold and that oblique injury.
I'm
I'm
not,
sure he was on pain meds, right? But regardless if you are or not, Okay. To still play the way that he did, it looked like he wasn't hindered by anything at all, which the media honestly just blew that out of proportion. The only bummer in this entire thing is that Charbonnet went down and he is out. So now the run game is on Kenneth Walker and a couple of other guys. The combo of Walker and Charbonnet was deadly. Can Kenneth Walker carry him for 2 games? I think so. There's guys in there that'll be able to give a breather and give a break, but Walker's going to have to carry that himself right now. And I think he's up for it.
We're going to get the notification soon. Marshawn Lynch signs a 2-week contract with Seattle Seahawks.
To just run the ball.
Just go in on 3rd and 1s. That's all we need him for. Everything else. I saw someone said they're like, because I remember Chris Carson, he retired because of his neck injury or something. There's like, yo, Chris Carson, how's the neck doing, man? It's like, that would be something. They bring him out of retirement to just go help get a ring like right now. Like, if he was up to it, man, I'd do it, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember a couple years ago whenever they actually brought Marshawn out of retirement to just let him go run for a little bit more. That was a good time.
Yep. If they need guys, they're out there if they need to sign somebody. But I think they're happy with who they have there right now. I think they feel confident. It being a division game is going to make it very interesting.
Yeah,
that
dude,
is always tough. But it's for the NFC Championship.
Bro, both of these games that they've had so far this season have been absolutely fantastic down to the wire. Their second one being way better than their first one, man. I remember watching that second one live, it going into overtime. Seattle wins 38-37. Like, man, I remember watching that game live, and I was like, this game was absolutely fantastic. And I'm like, that's why I'm so excited, because the stage is even bigger now. The first one was just for the first game they had was just let's see who can beat the in-division opponent here. The second one was, okay, who can take number 1 in the division and who will also take the number 1 bye moving into the playoffs. The third one is for who wants to take a trip to the Super Bowl. Like, the stakes for these games here, they just keep getting higher and higher and higher. And like, man, my excitement for this game cannot be understated. I am so excited to watch it. Like, man, I'm excited, man.
I am too. This is going to be the game of the weekend for sure. I don't think there's any question there. I think of course, we'll get into the last 2 games here, but the Broncos Patriots AFC Championship game, I'm of course going to watch it, and I'm excited because it's championship weekend. But this Rams Seahawks game is going to be crazy, and we'll of course do a preview episode later this week before the weekend covering this in more detail. But I'm on the same wavelength, my man, of being really, really excited for this game. I think it's going to be awesome. Next game, we're on to the Sunday schedule now. We have the Patriots and the Texans.
Oh, gosh.
28-16.
One of the worst played games by a quarterback in playoff history cannot be an understatement. I don't know what happened with CJ Stroud, but he looked like a shell of himself out there, dude. Like,
I thought last weekend was bad.
It got worse. I didn't even know that was possible.
A lot
Dude,
worse.
Seriously, like what was it? Like the 4 interceptions? I maybe fumbled every now and then too. It's like, I think there was like 8. I mean, the weather obviously was a very, very big factor in that game, but like included for the Patriots too, because I think it was
but they prepare
8 total
for that.
turnovers that game though.
Yeah, but they prepare for that. Like, and it's not to put too much on them. They are at the biggest stage. They're in the NFL.
We got a little bit of breaking news here. I'm just going to put this out here. The Packers just now released Trayvon Diggs. So just putting that out there. You can continue with what you're talking about. I just want to put that out there.
This is more important. Trayvon Diggs is Trayvon Diggs. I don't know. When a wild card weekend, I was like, man, CJ is not CJ. And I made the bold prediction that CJ was going to come back. He took the week to focus. He got ready to go, and he was going to lead them against the Patriots.
This is why you don't gamble, my friend.
Dude, I don't gamble. And that's why, because I try to give guys the benefit of the doubt. And for some reason, I never learn. but I don't know what happened. And I love D'Amico Ryans, what he is doing there in Houston. That defense is so phenomenal.
Absolutely. I
How
top
do
3 in the
you
NFL right now.
how do you not come out after halftime with your backup quarterback in play? I put that solely on D'Amico Ryans. Your goal is to win that game. And you might say, well, oh, you're going to ruin CJ's confidence and blah, blah. He's the franchise. Your job is to win that game. CJ, I guarantee you, had negative confidence. You can tell by his body language. He had nothing in him from the first pick that he threw. It is your job as the leader of that program to win a football game.
I remember seeing it, and it's obviously this is just full of people on Twitter, but like I'm just not across social media, everyone just clowning on CJ Stroud, and it
Yeah.
takes you back. And it's like he had one of the probably one of the best rookie quarterback seasons we've seen in recent memory, honestly. He was fantastic in his rookie year. Um he had that big brother, little brother moment with Caleb Williams where he was talking about him. He vocally, I do believe, vocally declared himself as a top 3 quarterback in the NFL that year, and then proceeded to just get worse ever since that. Like, it's okay, we understand a sophomore slump. It's a very true thing, I feel like, in the NFL with any rookie that it is. It's like their second
Most,
year.
yeah.
It's never usually better than their first year. It's never this bad though, man. It's like when it like, dude, he seriously did not look like an NFL quarterback in that game there against the Patriots. Like, it was so bad. And it's
And
he just
I
missing throws, interceptions. It's like he did not look like an NFL quarterback in that game.
he did not move his feet. He did not scramble. He did not try to get away. It was and that was 2 weeks in a row, and I don't know why and what was mentally up with him. And again, you can look at the receiving core and it was bad, and Dalton Schultz went down and Nico Collins wasn't there, but I don't think Nico Collins makes that much of a difference to them. He's a great wide receiver and he would have helped them, but the throws were so bad. The gameplay by Stroud was so bad. I don't think it really mattered who you have there.
I agree with that 100% because it's like you look at the receivers. Okay, he doesn't have fantastic receivers. Okay, his starting right tackle, I believe, or Trent Brown, he goes out right before the game starts. That obviously sucks to lose a starting offensive lineman. Dude, the throws that he made, half of them were at his receiver's feet. Like, it's other halves, they were ahead, they were behind, they were at his feet, they were too high. It's like he could not hit his receivers in the chest or even in stride, like 3/4 of the time he played that game. And it's like, man, how much of this can you really blame on either the receivers or the offensive line? It's like that's one of those ones that it's like you have to put it on CJ because who else can you seriously blame at that moment? And let me state this. As much as I'm taking a dump on CJ Stroud here. I love CJ Stroud. I really do. I think whenever he is on, he is a top at least 15 QB in the league. It's just he's been off for so long and it's been so bad whenever he's off. It's hard not to look at him and say, "Dude, what is going on right now?"
I completely agree. It was a really, really rough way for the Texans to end their season. Um, I don't know. I can only hope that they'll retool and come back next year stronger. Um, that game was, I don't know. It was a 28-16 game, but it felt much, much further apart than what the score showed.
Yeah, and that stinks too, because like the score was always close. Like it was
Yeah, it
never
was. They
like
were still in it.
it ever got out of hand. It wasn't ever like it was 28-7 at one point. It's like no, it was like 21-13 for like the longest time. And then the Patriots just got that one play and pulled ahead. And then at that moment, which I think it was Keyshawn Booty, he made that fantastic one-handed catch
My
in the end zone
gosh,
for that
dude.
touchdown.
That was nuts.
Like that was honestly, whenever that happened, I think it was with like 9 minutes maybe left to go in the fourth quarter. That was I think that maybe mentally just checked out the Texans because it's like, man, the
Yeah.
offense just could not move that day. And the once that happened and he catches that, honestly, I thought it was gonna be intercepted, if anything. But no, then he
Yeah.
just goes out and just snags that. It's like I think that kinda mentally just checked out everyone on the Houston sideline. It's just like, man, shout out to the Texans defense one more time before we move on. Like, they're like, man, I love D'Amico and I love what they're doing over there, man. And it's just there's so much good going on over there in Houston on the defensive side, and I really hope they keep it up and just don't get any worse.
Dude, Will Anderson is a dog.
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah,
mean,
he's
he
dude,
is
he's
an
so good.
absolute dog, caused multiple fumbles, just absolutely disrupted everything Drake May was trying to do. Um, just such a stud, man. I hurt for him. Daniil Hunter was there. I mean, the defense just played just fantastic football. But yeah, towards the end of the game there, you can kind of see the morale and things just going down, and you knew that was kind of it. Um, yeah, I don't know, tough way. It was again when I mentioned earlier about some of the sloppiest football I've seen. This was definitely a highlight, and the weather was really really bad. It was terrible. It was not good for gripping, throwing, catching, holding on to it. I get that, but man, these guys know there's things you could do to help with that. If they did those, then it's just one of those days, right? But it sure didn't it sure didn't seem like they even tried. So let's get into the last game. The last game, whew, that put the blood pressure up a little bit, man. The Rams and the Bears. Rams, of course, pull it out 20-17 in overtime. Um, I wasn't yeah, this was my hot take one because I don't like Ben Johnson, where I said that the Rams were gonna wax the Bears and just blow them out. I'm kind of happy that they didn't. Um, this game was fantastic. And honestly, in the last episode, everything we talked about with the Rams, with Caleb Williams, I mean, everything happened kind of like, and I don't want to toot our horn, but it was very, very clear. Like, Caleb Williams is so good when he's out of the pocket and off platform. And he just showed that time and time and time again throughout this game, including at the end of the game, or the end of regulation, I should say, with that ridiculous, like they'll say 40-yard, but like practically like
It was
47
40 yards
yard
off his back foot.
off his back foot while being chased by three massive defensive linemen in his grill. Like it was just so impressive to see the way that he worked and the way that he functioned in that time. He's a very, very solid quarterback. You can like him, you can hate him, you can pick on his finger paint, whatever. It doesn't matter. Um, yeah, it was such a good football game. The Rams, I don't think partially didn't really look like the Rams. They weren't very explosive. Um, I don't remember the Bears defense being that good. I guess I just didn't watch them that much this year, a couple of times throughout the season, but the Bears defense looked really, really good.
Yeah, man, I was gonna say, and this is my hot take for the episode. Caleb Williams on the run is like for on the run quarterbacks, he's top 5. And you can debate and like say, "Oh, well, he's not as bad as that." If go look at Caleb Williams whenever he's on the run compared to when he's in the pocket, he is a lot better of a quarterback when he's on the run, and that's a really weird
For
thing to
real.
say about quarterbacks. And but man, it's like some of the stuff he does when he's on the run is just genuinely insane. Like the way that he can extend plays from nothing into something, he's done it throughout the entirety of the playoffs so far. And like
Yeah.
he is making improbable throws from a guy who's 1 year in. Like, it's dude, he's a fantastic quarterback, and as long as they keep doing what they're doing this year, I think there's a really bright future there in Chicago. But yeah, on the Rams side of things, I said experience was gonna win that game, but I just Matt Stafford didn't even have that good of a game, honestly. I think
He really didn't.
the Rams defense won that game for the Rams there, I think, honestly, and
Yeah.
the thicker kicker, I
Yeah.
Melvis. Man, that guy, he's ice in his veins. Like, he's
Yeah.
fantastic kicker, and yeah, man, I think it was just 2, maybe 3 interceptions Caleb Williams had that game, and, like, man, the Rams defense, they came to play that game, man, like,
They played
on the opening
fast and
drive
fierce, man.
on the opening drive, picking off Caleb Williams, that's great. On like to end the game there for the Bears there too, getting the interception like that where I believe maybe it was Cameron Curl dove what looked to be like 6 yards
Oh
forward
my
to
gosh,
go pick him
yes.
off, man. That was insane. But yeah, Rams move on to the championship round against Seattle, and I am very excited to watch that.
Yeah. Now, like I said, it's a lot of close games the last 2 weeks, which is what you want in playoff football. The outlier again is the Seahawks and Niners. And you could say it's injuries with Niners, and yeah, they've been bitten pretty hard by that again. I mean, it seems like every year that happens. And there's some conspiracies out there about that with some local things going on out there. But like I said, the Seahawks, man, they are the team to beat, in my opinion. I think the Rams are very, very close. The defense did play fast and just absolutely crazy this weekend. No super crazy injuries. I'm sure people are hurting and dinged up, but what do you expect at this time of year, right? Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. We only have 3 NFL games left, but this weekend should be very, very interesting. Um, yeah. Lastly, I mean, of course, we'll end it with another congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers, Coach Signetti, and again that fan base, they deserve it, man. First national championship. You could tell they were just ecstatic. Which I mean, how couldn't you be? A perfect 16-0 season. Um, I would think Mendoza's probably the number one pick to go to the Raiders. I mean, Tom Brady was there chatting up with him yesterday. So, we'll see what that is like in a couple of months at the draft. Again, though, it was a fantastic game. It was back and forth and back and forth, and it was so close for so long. Um, yeah, I don't know. Congrats to the Hoosiers, man. It was super cool to see some other teams in there for once. And of course, see a team like Indiana pull that one.
Yeah, man, and over here we're massive fans of Fernando Mendoza as well. It's like, man, that run he had there at the end
Oh,
on a play
that was
that I don't even
beautiful.
think it wasn't originally designed to even be a QB run, but it looked like it. I remember him talking about it in the post game thing. He said like if it was man, then he was going to pass it, and if it was zone, then he was going to run it. And he noticed that it was zone, and he said, "All right, I'm just going to go." And then for
They
him to
blocked it a little bit
keep breaking
differently,
out of those
and
tackles and the dive there at the end, I mean, that's probably going to go down as one of the greatest plays in college football history. And I don't even think I'm exaggerating that, man. And yeah, I think it was like the first like 16-0 team since like 1894 or something like that in college football. And it's like, man, I mean, that's a crazy stat. That's like that literally it's over 100. I think it was 130 years, I think it might have been since the last time
yeah,
that happened. And it's just like, man, like something like that's just crazy to go down. And yeah, I think that run there at the end from Mendoza honestly solidified him being the number one overall pick because I remember him chopping it up with Tom Brady, and then I think their owner might have been there as well.
yep.
But yeah, man, that's just yeah, congrats Hoosiers, man. That was awesome to watch that game live.
Mendoza's toughness was on display. I mean, to my opinion, the multiple personal fouls that were not called, um, the crown of the helmet to the chin that literally sent him spinning in the air, coming up with a bloody mouth. Um, for TV purposes, you couldn't make it any better, but to just pop up multiple times, there were penalty flags that should have been thrown on some
You see
personal
that picture
fouls.
of like his forearm, like after the game was over,
Yes,
and it was all like
he took
bruised. It was like
he took a
purple and all
beating.
that. Like
Yeah, his toughness was on display, and that's going to go a long way with Raider Nation, man. That really, really is. So
absolutely.
we'll see what happens in the draft. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Um, but man, what a weekend of football! What a weekend of football. So we got Rams, Seahawks, Patriots, Broncos. I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it in the preview episode, but I got some thoughts for sure. There's going to be some really, really key matchups we're going to talk about and pay attention to as well. So, anything else to add, dude?
I remember showing you that picture because the NFL, whenever the playoffs happen, they usually show the backs of the quarterbacks that'll be playing
Yep.
in the later rounds and whatnot. And I remember showing you the picture that they posted about the NFC Championship. It was Stidham, May, um, Stafford, and Darnold. And I said, man, imagine showing that picture to someone 5 years ago.
Yeah,
They would have been,
exactly.
what in the world has happened? Sam Darnold's on the Seahawks and
Yes.
he's actually doing well. Matt Stafford's
Yep.
on the Rams and he's doing well. Who is Drake May? And then Jarrett Stidham is a starting quarterback for the Broncos. If you don't tell them about Bo Nix, they're going to be like, how the heck did Stidham turn his career around like this? But yeah,
Yes.
man, that's just, we're going to be in for a crazy weekend of football, I feel like.
Yeah. And for the last 15 years in the AFC Championship game, it's either been the Patriots or the Chiefs. Oh my gosh. Somebody has got to take them over.
That's crazy consistency. That's all that is there.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, 2 games this weekend. Looking forward to them. Really excited to kind of see what happens. Excited, honestly, to see what Stidham looks like. You haven't seen him in forever. He took 1 snap this year so far, and it was a kneel down. It's been a long time for that boy, but they're praising him, saying how good he is and how easy he can read things. So, again, we'll get deeper into that in a couple of days on the next show. But yeah, awesome. Anything else?
I'm 9-1 in my playoff predictions. Dang near
I
perfect.
know, dude. You are
It's
9-1. I am 6-4. Again, this is why Jeff does not gamble. You shouldn't either, Brady. Even though you're 9-1, don't let it go to your head. But yeah, whew. And the only one is the Buffalo game.
I know that's what I mean, man. If I would have
Nine
just
and a half to a half, I'll call it, I guess.
if I would have just taken Denver, I would have been a perfect 10-0 at the moment, man. That's crazy, dude. As I said, all you got to do with the rest of these playoff picks, man, I'm just telling you, if you want my word of advice, and for everyone out there listening, if you say you and your friends are betting on it or something, my word of advice, stick with your gut. If you say one thing, but your gut's telling you otherwise, listen to your gut on that one and just trust me.
And this is not betting advice. We do not do that
No, not at all. I don't
at
condone
all.
it at all, even.
We don't condone it. I don't care what
Nope.
anybody says. There's no legal ramifications here. You go do whatever you want to do. You do not say we gave you any advice, but hey, here we go.
Absolutely not. I don't condone it whatsoever. I'm just giving you my piece of advice.
Yes. Just giving your opinion. That's all. So awesome. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed the weekend as much as we did. Hopefully your week is off to a great start. Got a couple more days. It's only Tuesday right now. So a couple more days till we get to the championship games. But from us here at the All Out Blitz podcast, God bless and peace out.
Peace.